Hello Leo and welcome back to the channel. I am Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot and it is time for June readings. This time I've got a new deck. It is, as I look at the box, Magical Hours Tarot. It is gorgeous. I just cracked it this morning and I did a flip through video, or I taped one, but it is very long, so I don't know if I'm ever going to post it. It is a very, very long flip through. So we'll see. But you'll see the images or some of them in just a moment. As per usual, and this will be a very general reading for a general Leo audience. So that means it's not quite the same as a one-to-one reading. Please just take what resonates for you and leave the rest for another Leo or another day. I invite you to check out the videos for all of your major astrological placements. So your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign. I am going to shuffle the deck, but I always fast forward the video over this shuffling part, and then I get right into the reading for you. So here we go. I'm going to shuffle, but I will catch up with you as soon as I'm about to lay out the cards. See you in just a second. Okay, Leo, let's see what you've got. Two of Pentacles, the Moon, Justice, Three of Cups, the Emperor, and the Ten of Wands. Okay. So the first thing I notice with this reading is you have three major arcana and three pip cards, which is the numbered cards. There are no court cards here, so no people cards. The major arcana cards tend to be like heavy, sort of chapter changing cards. And the pip cards tend to be, sort of mundane cards. The Two of Pentacles is usually juggling obligations. So it can be this sort of thing where you've got a lot going on at work, and maybe you're looking for another job on the down low, or you've just got, a big project going on at work, or you've got just a lot going on in your calendar, from work to personal obligations, family birthdays to remember, weddings, and gifts to remember, and graduations, and social events, and goals you're trying to achieve while you have to work out and get the kids to wherever they need to go, whatever it is. Usually Two of Pentacles is juggling a lot of things while trying to progress with whatever your personal goals are. Oftentimes entrepreneurial or scholastic, on top of just, paying rent or the mortgage or whatever it is. And it does indicate, progress is being made while you're taking care of practical things as well. The Three of Cups indicates often a reason for celebration. Sometimes it's getting together with friends, just to get together with friends and being social. It can sometimes indicate, for some Leos, getting back. Ooh, that's a little bit fuzzy. Let's see if we can get some of these folks in better focus. Sometimes it can indicate a time to get back into the dating world, just to get back into the dating world. So it can be a time for single Leos, if you're on those dating apps and having a lot of dates, just to have a lot of dates, just to sample what's out there and that sort of thing. Or just a time when you really prioritize getting back in touch with your friends, or going to movies, or, hanging out, whatever it is. Especially if you've been too busy with work, or it could be the reason why you're juggling a lot more because you've been sucked in at work and you've realized I need to make more time for my friends. So balancing work with play can fill up the social calendar. So that could be what you're balancing. That work-play balance could lead to this busier calendar. Could be what's going on. Now the next column we have here is the moon and the emperor. What an interesting combo. So the moon I see come up in a couple of different ways. Now the sun card is often associated with Leo, right? Because Leo is sunny and bold and aggressive, and the sun can also be associated with the spotlight and Hollywood and warm places, which is very leonine. All those things, being in the spotlight and Hollywood and warmth and sunniness. So the moon can sometimes be like the opposite of that. It's sort of shadows and insecurity and, moodiness, as opposed to assuredness. It's kind of the opposite in terms of vibe. But the moon can also symbolize the arts and artistry and a certain kind of romance. So especially for any Leo artists out there, especially those that are involved in like visual arts, sculpture, photography, any of those who write poetry, novels, graphic novels, the moon card can indicate a time of being inspired, especially if you're inspired by dark, spooky things. This can be a really fruitful time for your inspiration. The moon can also speak to a time when your unconscious is sort of released or kind of running wild, or if you let your unconscious or subconscious run wild, it can inspire your art. So again, for any Leos that are artistic in that way, using maybe your childhood, and again, I've mentioned this before, and it sounds kind of creepy, but if you had a troublesome childhood, you need to sort of work through some childhood stuff, do some shadow work. The moon card indicates a time when it's actually kind of a good time to get to that shadow side and your subconscious, unconscious, dark stuff, So that's one way the moon can play out. It's kind of your shadowy, your dark stuff. It can be the time when that stuff kind of burbles up and you can look at it and deal with it. So it can also be a time to go to therapy, to go to a 12-step program and start to deal with anything that's unresolved in that way. So that's, dealing with your unconscious stuff. The moon can say, hey, time to do that. But another way the moon can come up for us is to say something is not in focus correctly. Something is affecting us in a way that we are not seeing correctly because it's not illuminated yet. Sometimes the moon can just say, wait for the sun to come out. Wait for the dawn. Like sometimes when we're in our own backyard or we're in our own neighborhood, without the light of the sun, even familiar territory can get weird. We can misjudge distances, or familiar animals can get scary, can have weird shadows without the sunlight. And so there's a call when the moon comes out sometimes to just slow down. Don't make any hasty decisions. Just wait until the sun comes out. So for some Leos, this might be a time for amazing art. For some Leos, the moon might be saying, hey, this might be time for therapy or journaling or 12-stepping. And for 12-step programs, I should say. And for some Leos, the moon might be saying, it's okay. Don't be afraid of that shadow. It might just be a mouse and not an elephant. You'll be able to see tomorrow when the sun comes out that that thing you were afraid of was really nothing. Don't make any hasty decisions. It could just be the moon playing with your mind. So, depending on your circumstances, Leo, it could be one of those things. Take it as it resonates for you. Now, the Emperor is a whole other situation. The Emperor is about being stable and sturdy and being able to build your vision. It's being clear-headed and clear-minded and knowing who you are and knowing what your brand is and knowing what you want and knowing you can build that. Knowing what you can do needs to exist in the world and you got to bring it. So it could just be that there's a time for a lot of Leos. It could just be that a timing piece is not yet ready. And then when the sun comes out or whatever it is, then you're ready to build your brand, build your vision, build your brand, whatever it is. We then see the Justice card, which is essentially a contract. It is someone offers you a job, or you go ahead and you put an offer in on that house or that rental property or whatever it is. You'll know how it applies for you. But it's that next phase. The contract comes in, or you commit to the thing that you decide needs to happen here. So after the juggling, the celebration, maybe you talk over with your friends, like, I need to do thus or so, or I need more of XYZ in my life. There's maybe a bit of a tea time of the soul, or you hem and haw over it, but then when the sun comes out, you make your decision, you lay your plans, you do your blueprint or whatever, you make your decision, and either the contract comes in or you make the commitment, whatever it is. It's interesting because it looks like, this is a month where there's a lot of, it feels like you're exhausted by the month's end, but there's an ending and a beginning by the month's end. So you're kind of busy at the beginning and a different kind of busy at the end, but it feels like you've made this whole journey through it, Leo, really. And it's a big transition. So there is a feel in the Ten of Wands that you can almost see it in this card too here. Let's see if we can get it in focused. It almost looks like she's carrying tent stakes, doesn't it? It's almost like you pick up and move. So take that as it resonates for you. This could be a new, like literally a new position, maybe at the place you work at. Maybe you leave jobs, maybe you graduate. It could be a new job, a new place, something like that. But it feels like a move. But you've got friends to support you, and this is something that you have been working on, something you want, and something you like prayed or hemmed and hawed over, or something like that. But it's kind of a big deal commitment right? So as much as it's a lot of work, you have to close out one cycle to start this new cycle, but it's time and you're ready, right? Yeah. Congratulations. Whew. I'm going to leave it there for you, Leo. I think this is a pretty big deal month. I think it's going to feel like a big shift by the end of the month. I think it might even feel like surprising how much of a change it is, because this just feels kind of almost like doo-dee-doo, like regular life. And then there's this huge change. It's a huge chapter. This might even be a whole new book by the end of the month. You know what I mean? But it's a book you want to be in. Okay. Now I'm really going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me, Leo. If this was helpful, I hope you'll leave a like, comment, subscribe. In any case, please take good care. Until next time. Bye for now.